Hello and welcome back to another video on the channel, and in today's video I'm going to be talking specifically about the Premier League and even more specifically about some of the games that happened on the weekend, because a few of these games had kind of interesting outcomes, interesting things that happened in the games that I just want to highlight, because this is really what the Premier League is about. Unexpected things happen in the Premier League and unexpected results. You know, some teams fall off, some teams have a good game here and there. And really, a lot has happened, especially at the top of the Premier League table. I mean, some things have happened that were expected, some things have happened that weren't. So, really, let's just get straight into these games. So, the first game we have is Tottenham going up against Arsenal, and Arsenal ended up winning this game by 2-0. And if I'm being honest, at the start of this game, Hugo Lloris just, I don't know what was going on really, because Lloris is meant to be like one of the best goalkeepers in the world. You know, he's meant to be up there with a lot of, with goalkeepers like Neuer, with all the best goalkeepers. And he started really by just giving the ball away to Arsenal, which gave them really an early chance to get a goal. I mean, this was the start of an absolute howler for him. And Arsenal nearly scored from this. He gave it away and Arsenal crossed it in. And to be honest, to be fair to Lloris, he did make a good save in the end. So he did kind of make up for it. However, it only got worse and worse for poor Hugo Lloris, because Arsenal went down like the side with Saka. Saka kind of cut across. He took a shot and the shot was deflected. And I don't know what happened with Lloris, but I think he went to parry it away and it deflected off his hands and went in the goal off the deflection from his own player. So it counted as an own goal for Hugo Lloris. And really, I don't really know what happened. Like, I remember hearing the commentary saying like it was really, really poor from Lloris, and it was, because the ball kind of just went straight at him and he kind of just parried it away. Well, he tried to parry it away when he could have really have just caught it or just stuck his hands out, but it went off him, went in the goal. And to be honest, Tottenham did have some good chances, but they just couldn't put any of them away, to be honest. I mean, they didn't have a lot of chances, so I don't really think they really deserved anything out of this, also with how they defended as well. And then, really, in the second half, to seal the game, one of Arsenal's best players the entire season, Martin Odegaard, just got the ball on the outside of the box and he just slotted that straight into the bottom corner. One of the goals of the week. He was way outside the box and the placement of it was just incredible. I mean, Martin Odegaard has really, really come into his own since coming to Arsenal, and I'm really happy to see that, considering how much pressure was put on him at Real Madrid. So in the end, really, Arsenal just outplayed Spurs. That's literally what happened. And they deserved the 2-0 win, and they got another 3 points to extend their lead at the top of the Premier League table. So in the second game, it was Brighton going up against Liverpool, where Brighton really pulled off kind of a shock defeat against Liverpool, winning by 3-0. So really, what happened to start with? Brighton, they were just kind of dominating, and they went through on goal with Sonny March, and it appeared that he was fouled by Alisson. However, the referee went to VAR, and it was ruled that March was offside, so the penalty in the end wasn't awarded. So there, Liverpool kind of got away with one. However, Brighton, after this, were just creating chance after chance after chance, and really, eventually their chances for Brighton were rewarded, because Liverpool gave the ball away quite poorly, and after a scrappy bit of play, Sonny March just put the ball in the back of the net. It was kind of like a ball was played across, and Sonny March was quite close to Alisson in like the 6-yard box, and he just kind of guided it past Alisson. So it was a good goal, and I think it was a really, really well-worked goal by Brighton. So they went 1-0 up. And then this wasn't much later. I mean, Brighton really got ahead of steam here, and then Ferguson put through March, who kind of just turned and slotted the ball like right into the back of the net. I mean, this it was one of those goals that you kind of have to see to fully understand. It looked, if I'm being honest, it looked quite an awkward goal to score, but it was just absolutely brilliant, an absolutely brilliantly placed goal, and it did look quite difficult to score. So Sonny March getting his second goal there, and it was brilliant because he was kind of surrounded by 3 defenders as well, and he still managed to put it in the corner of the goal. So then off a throw-in, the ball was played into Danny Welbeck, who, in my opinion, took a pretty brilliant touch and just slotted it past Ederson. I mean, that made it 3-0, and that just made it game over. I mean, the touch from Welbeck, I think, was brilliant. And he just took it past the defender, bang, put it past Ederson. And to be honest, throughout this game, Liverpool didn't really create anything going forward. So for me, just Brighton, once again, just outplayed them. So the third game we are going to be talking about is the Manchester derby between Man United and Man City. And this is a bit of a controversial game. However, Man United were creating a lot of chances throughout this game, and they were playing quite brilliantly, but they couldn't put the put the ball in the back of the net. And really, that's all it was to start with. Man United just creating chance after chance. And then on the hour mark, the game really kind of kicked off because De Bruyne puts the ball up in the air and Grealish gets on the end of the ball and just headers it in the back of the net. So Man City make the breakthrough against the run of play. They did have a couple of chances, but Man United had the majority of the chances. So after this, a ball was played through, and Rashford was offside, but he did end up leaving it for Bruno Fernandes to put in the back of the net. So this is the controversial bit. So Rashford was offside, however, he didn't touch the ball, and Bruno Fernandes was onside, and he was the one who put the ball in the back of the net. So originally, it was given offside. However, the ref went to VAR and it was overturned. So by rule, it is a goal. However, considering that Rashford was technically obstructing the play, he was not really getting in Ederson's way, but he was kind of in Ederson's eye line, and that distracted him. Personally, I would give it as offside and I wouldn't have counted it. But by rule, it isn't off. Well, by rule, it is a goal. So unfortunately, that's what you have to go with. And apparently it is one of those rules where it's really down to the officials' really objective decision. So later on in the game, Garnacho is down in the box. I think he tries to put a ball in or he tries to shoot and it comes back to him. He then puts a ball across, and who's there on the end of it? None other than Marcus Rashford, who just slots it past Ederson to make it 2-1. So in the end, Man United do beat Man City 2-1 in a controversial Manchester derby. And the last game I'm going to talk about is Newcastle versus Fulham. And Newcastle ended up winning this game by 1-0. And this was quite a weird game as well. So in this game, Newcastle had really most of the chances, if not really all the chances. And against the run of play, Fulham go down the other end of the field and get a penalty. However, Mitrovic does put it in the back of the net, but because he hit it twice, it is then disallowed. So, doesn't count, and it's still 0-0. So then, the Newcastle chances continue to flow. They continue to start creating them. And then, at the end of the game, a ball is put up, a cross is put in, and it's headed back down to Alexander Isak, who puts it in the back of the net. And Newcastle end up winning the game 1-0. So, an interesting game, and an unusual thing happening in that game. But Newcastle do end up winning 1-0, and they continue their brilliant form, and they get another clean sheet. And really, the Premier League table after this hasn't really changed much, but there are quite a few interesting results that may have kind of shaped the season a bit. However, I do think that the big thing that happened this week was Arsenal opening up the gap at the top of the table to, I think it is 9, it's either 8 or 9 points, something like that. And that is going to be crucial, especially with Manchester City losing the Manchester Derby. So, overall, what do you think about the games this weekend? What do you think about the games I mentioned? And also, what do you think about the Premier League title race? Do you think Arsenal are too far ahead? We're only nearly about halfway through the season. So, leave all that in the comments. Thank you for listening, and hopefully I will see you in the next video.